Doesn't it cut deep when you realize some people will drain you dry, utterly blind to the respect you crave? No matter how much of yourself you pour out, they take your presence, your patience, your forgiveness for granted, expecting you to constantly prove your worth. But feel this. The exact second you refuse to swallow their disrespect anymore, a sickening realization dawns on them. The true value of what they carelessly discarded. It's like sucking a well-dry day after day, never thinking, until the earth cracks in agony, and they finally grasp, too late, the preciousness they squandered. Picture this agony, a loyal workhorse buckling under impossible loads, beaten and pushed, its spirit slowly crushed, its strength utterly ignored. Then the collapse. Panic erupts, not from empathy, but from the terrifying belated understanding that the weight was always borne by the very soul they trampled on. Because while they're busy grinding you down with disrespect, you face a gut-wrenching choice. Endure their toxic games or vanish into a silence that screams louder than words. And when you finally wrench yourself free, choosing you, their world shatters with regret. Your absence becomes a gaping wound, their old manipulative tricks suddenly useless against the void you left. So listen closely. Today, we rip the masks off 8 types of emotional vampires who are fundamentally incapable of respecting you ever. Your only winning move: sever the ties completely. Because real respect isn't pleaded for through gritted teeth. It flows freely, or it's worthless. If it's not given, your only sane response is to walk away and never look back. Stick with this, because the final revelation will shift your entire reality. Let's dive in. First, the soul-sucking vortex, the constantly jealous. Let's confront one of the most exhausting battles, desperately seeking validation from those secretly consumed by envy towards you. It's insidious at first. Maybe it's a forced smile masking bitterness when you share joy, a barely there that's great dripping with insincerity. Perhaps their energy just feels wrong, heavy with unspoken resentment. Or maybe it's the chilling silence, their deliberate refusal to even acknowledge your light. But inevitably the ugly pattern surfaces. They don't celebrate your wins. They despise them. Here's the brutal truth. Someone drowning in constant jealousy lacks the capacity to respect you. Their own gnawing insecurity makes it impossible. No amount of your kindness, no effort to include them, can change the fact that they perceive your success not as inspiration, but as a personal affront, a dagger to their ego. They don't cheer you on. They secretly pray for your downfall. It's harsh, but some people aren't equipped to rise with you. Their only goal is to desperately avoid being overshadowed. This is where the stark clarity of Stoicism cuts through. Seneca's words echo. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Absorb that. Their jealousy isn't a reflection of you. It's a gaping hole within them, an endless craving born from dissatisfaction with their own existence. They'll always grasp for what others possess. Trying to fill that void with your kindness is like pouring water into a sieve, utterly futile. This is their demon to wrestle, alone. Let this sink in. A guy, let's name him Jake, endured a friend who actively minimized every single achievement. Promotion. About damn time, he sneered. Getting fit? Suddenly Jake was one of those arrogant people who think they're better than everyone. Every step forward Jake took, this person spat venom to shrink it back down. The sickening realization hit Jake. The venom wasn't personal dislike. It was hatred for the growth Jake embodied. Resenting Jake was easier than facing their own stagnation. So, how do you escape the grip of the constantly jealous? First, abandon the soul-crushing hope that they'll magically change. Their envy is a deep rot. Unless they choose to heal, your efforts will only breed more bitterness in them. Second, create distance. Your spirit needs oxygen, not the suffocating presence of resentment. Third, and crucially, refuse to dim your light to soothe their fragile ego. Keep climbing, keep shining, and let them choke on their own shadows. Ultimately, these jealous souls offer only poison, never support. Stop begging for crumbs of their approval. The people worthy of you won't feel threatened by your light. They'll bask in it alongside you. Second, the puppet masters, the chronic manipulators. Brace yourself, because we're dissecting perhaps the most insidious toxin, those incapable of respect because manipulation is their very oxygen. Chronic manipulators bypass honesty, fairness, and mutuality entirely. Their arsenal: twisted words, crushing guilt trips, and calculated deceit, all aimed at one thing: control, never truth. It starts subtly, masked as feigned concern. I only say this because I care. Or they weaponize guilt. After everything I've sacrificed for you, sometimes they play the martyr. Wow, so I'm the villain again? But peel back the layers, and the horrifying pattern emerges. They are never accountable, and you are perpetually trapped in a fog of confusion, self-blame, and powerlessness. Face this devastating truth: manipulators fundamentally disrespect you because they don't see a person, they see a pawn. Your boundaries, your feelings, your reality, they mean nothing. Every action is a calculated move for their gain. Collateral damage to your well-being be damned. And the cruelest twist: they masterfully convince you that your reactions, your pain, are the actual problem. Here, Marcus Aurelius offers a lifeline. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Understand this: you don't win by sinking to their level, by getting entangled in their justifications or desperate pleas for validation. Your ultimate power: move against a manipulator, refuse to play, starve their craving for control, and watch their power evaporate. Imagine Emily's torment, tangled with a friend who was a virtuoso of manipulation. Every attempt Emily made to draw a line, the friend twisted it back on her. Deny a favor? Wow, so our friendship means nothing. Confront hurtful behavior? Instant victim mode. I can't believe you'd accuse me. Emily found herself perpetually walking on eggshells, exhausted from defending herself against phantom accusations. The crushing realization dawned: this wasn't connection. It was a soul-draining power struggle she was losing. How do you break free from the manipulator's chains? First, learn to recognize the poison. Does someone consistently leave you drowning in guilt, doubting your own sanity, twisting your words? That's your red flag. Step back, see the ugly pattern. Second, forge iron boundaries and refuse to yield. They will push, probe, test your resolve, but the instant you stop caving, their leverage shatters. Finally, muster the courage to walk away when escape is the only option. No explanations, no arguments, no justifications needed. They offer counterfeit respect. Stop accepting fake currency. Ultimately, manipulators crave dominance, not connection. Your only path to freedom? Refuse to be a player in their sick game. Cut the strings, reclaim your stolen peace, and stride forward, never glancing back. If this resonates, hit like and subscribe. More empowerment is coming. Third, the architects of deceit, the habitual liars. Let's confront a fundamental relationship killer, the habitual liar. These individuals weave falsehood so seamlessly, deception becomes their native tongue. They don't just lie to escape consequences, they lie compulsively, even when truth serves them better. Reality is putty in their hands, bent, twisted, rewritten, to suit their fleeting narrative. Corner them? Prepare for outright denial or insidious gaslighting that makes you feel insane for daring to question their manufactured reality. Here's the gut punch. Someone who lies constantly sees zero intrinsic value in truth, and by extension, zero value in you. Trust, the bedrock of respect, cannot coexist with deceit. Each lie isn't just hiding a fact, it's a blatant demonstration of their contempt for honesty, accountability, and integrity. They view you as gullible, someone who will passively accept their fabrications, and the more you let slide, the more deeply entrenched their belief becomes, that they can manipulate your reality consequence-free. But listen to Marcus Aurelius. Truth stands the test of time. Lies are always caught. And this is the inevitable endgame. Lies always self-destruct. No matter how slick the performance, dishonesty leaves a trail of contradictions. The liar's greatest vulnerability is their inability to manage their own tangled web. Eventually, the stories fray, the mask slips, and the raw, ugly truth exposes their rotten core. Consider Adam's painful journey, a friend whose existence was increasingly built on lies. It started small, inflated stories, minor exaggerations. Then came the bigger deceptions, elaborate excuses for cancelled plans, fabricated connections. Confrontation yielded only deflection or wounded offense. Wow, you don't trust me. The chilling realization hit Adam. This person wasn't just lying about things, they were lying about who they were. And if someone is fundamentally dishonest about their own identity, genuine honesty with you is impossible. How do you protect yourself from the corrosive acid of habitual liars? First, stop granting them the benefit of the doubt you desperately want to give. Multiple lies are not mistakes, they are a pattern. Trust the evidence of your own eyes and ears, not their slippery words. Second, disengage from the futile Jenga game of confrontation. A liar always has another lie ready. Save your breath, save your sanity. Finally, and most critically, walk away. You cannot build anything meaningful, a relationship, a friendship, a venture, on a foundation riddled with deceit. Truth is non-negotiable for respect. If honesty is beyond them, your trust is unearned. Sever the connection and let their web of lies ensnare only themselves. Fourth, the vultures of reputation, the gossipers and backstabbers. Let's expose another, profoundly toxic breed, those who thrive on gossip and betrayal. Initially, they might lure you in, seeming like harmless confidants sharing juicy tidbits, whispering secrets, but internalize this cold, hard fact. If they viciously dissect others to you, they will just as eagerly shred you behind your back. These individuals feed on negativity. Trust and respect are alien concepts. Their bonds are forged in the murky waters of shared slander, feeling powerful only when tearing others down. Their loyalty is a performance, ready to evaporate the second betrayal serves their agenda. And the most sickening part? The constant gnawing uncertainty. One minute you're their ally, the next you're the subject of their latest malicious narrative. Here's the unvarnished truth. Gossipers and backstabbers possess zero genuine loyalty, making respect an impossibility. Someone who truly values you acts as a guardian of your reputation in your absence, not a gleeful executioner dragging it through the mud for sport. Constant negative talk about others isn't insider info. It's a symptom of their deep-seated need to feel superior by possessing tainted knowledge. Secrets are their currency, betrayal their trade, and in their toxic world everyone is potential collateral damage. Heed Marcus Aurelius. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Stop agonizing over their trustworthiness. Observe their actions. Consistent gossip, rumor-mongering, betrayal. Don't torture yourself wondering if you'll be next. You will. Your defense? Starve them of your attention and energy. Distance yourself. Refuse to participate. Picture Ryan's dawning horror. A co-worker constantly leaking secrets, initially making Ryan feel special, trusted. Then the sickening realization, the information shared was outrageously inappropriate. Private struggles, confidential details of colleagues. Nothing was sacred. The cold dread washed over him. If they share this about others, what venom? Are they spitting about him? Ryan wisely withdrew, keeping interactions superficial. Predictably, he soon heard second-hand reports confirming this very co-worker was indeed poisoning the well against him. How do you shield yourself from these reputation assassins? First, lock down your personal information. Treat them like hostile agents. Nothing you share is safe. If they feast on others' secrets, yours will be dessert. Second, refuse to be drawn into their toxic swamp. If they try to dump negativity on you, pivot the conversation or physically remove yourself. Don't provide the audience they crave. Finally, don't hesitate to surgically remove them from your life. You don't need energy vampires whose sole purpose is demolition. Remember, true loyalty is silent protection when you're not there. Choose allies who prioritize respect over rumors. Let the gossipers drown in their own toxic chatter. Watch this far? Show some love. Comment "Thank God" and hit like. Your support fuels more content like this. Let's keep learning. Thanks. Fifth, the emotional black holes, the ones who take and never give. Let's confront one of the most profoundly draining dynamics. Interacting with perpetual takers, these individuals operate outside the realm of balance, fairness, or mutual care. Their presence is conditional, appearing only when they crave your time, your energy, your resources, your emotional labor. But the moment the tables turn, the instant you express a need, poof, they vanish behind a wall of flimsy excuses or sudden, impenetrable busyness. Here's the painful reality. Someone who materializes only in their time of need, yet evaporates in yours, doesn't perceive you as a human being worthy of reciprocity. You are reduced to a utility, a resource mine to be exploited at their convenience. They make endless withdrawals from the relationship bank account without ever making a deposit. They don't invest, they don't reciprocate, they remain blissfully, willfully ignorant of the toll their one-sided demands take on you. This isn't connection, it's a parasitic transaction where you are perpetually depleted. Here, Seneca's wisdom pierces through. Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Genuine relationships, friendships, partnerships, family, bonds should be sources of elevation, not exhaustion. The people intertwined with your life ought to inspire growth, offer refuge in storms, and enrich your journey. If someone's primary function in your life is to drain your resources, they are not a friend. They are an anchor dragging you down. Consider Julia's story. A friend perpetually in crisis, leaning heavily on Julia for financial aid, career counsel, endless venting sessions. Julia, inherently kind, obliged. But a gnawing awareness grew. This friend never once inquired about Julia's well-being, never offered a listening ear, never reciprocated support. Julia experimented. She stopped, initiating contact. The result? Silence. The friendship imploded the moment the resource tap ran dry. It was never about connection, only utility. How do you sever ties with these emotional parasites? First, acknowledge the toxic pattern without illusion. If the relationship is glaringly one-sided, call it what it is: exploitation. Second, erect. Firm boundaries. Stop being the endlessly available resource. If reciprocity is non-existent, drastically limit your output. Turn off the tap. Finally, summon the strength to walk away entirely. Authentic connection involves mutual investment. The right people meet you halfway. Ultimately, real relationships thrive on shared effort, not one-way convenience. If someone only takes, they forfeit their right to your energy. Cut them loose. Fiercely guard your resources, and invest only in those who demonstrably value your whole being. Sixth, the confidence assassins, the ones who undermine your confidence. Let's unmask one of the most insidious forms of disrespect, those who actively sabotage your self-belief. These aren't people offering tough love or constructive feedback to fuel your growth. No, these individuals deploy mockery, belittlement, and dismissal of your dreams, not out of genuine concern for your potential failure, but because your ascent terrifies them. It begins subtly, like a slow poison, a biting, sarcastic jab, a compliment laced with condescension. Share a cherished goal, expect a sneer. You, seriously? Well, good luck. Achieve something hard-won? Pure luck, obviously. They avoid direct confrontation, preferring to plant insidious seeds of doubt, whispering negativity until you begin to internalize their toxic narrative, questioning your own capabilities. If unchecked, their venomous words can paralyze your spirit. Here's the pathetic truth. People who chip away at your confidence desperately need you to fail because your success is a blinding mirror reflecting their own inertia. Your growth starkly illuminates their stagnation. Rather than undertake the arduous work of self-improvement, they resort to the cowardly tactic of trying to drag you down to their level. Keeping you small is their defense mechanism against feeling inadequate, against being left behind. But Seneca offers a powerful reframe. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Understand this. These obstacles, this negativity, aren't roadblocks. They are litmus tests. Those attempting to undermine you are merely broadcasting their own profound weaknesses, not yours. Every sneer at your ambition, every dismissal of your progress is ironically a flashing sign confirming you're moving upward. They wouldn't bother expending energy to pull you down if you weren't already posing a threat by rising. Remember Sarah, fired up to launch her business, armed with a plan and passion. Yet her supposed friends met her enthusiasm with derision. Get real, Sarah, failure's inevitable. Cute idea, but can you really handle it? Initially resilient, the constant barrage of doubt began its corrosive work. She nearly surrendered. Her dream until a crucial insight struck. Her detractors were themselves stagnant, risk-averse, dreamless. Their contribution? Pure negativity, zero solutions. That realization was her liberation. She tuned them out, focusing only on voices aligned with her aspirations. Years later, her business flourishes, while the doubters remain precisely where they were, mired in mediocrity. How do you neutralize these confidence assassins? First, recognize their attacks stem from their deep-seated insecurity. Their venom is about their fear, not your potential. Internalize this, and their words lose power. Second, refuse to absorb their poisonous doubt. If an opinion doesn't propel you forward, it's garbage. Discard it immediately. Finally, your ultimate rebuttal isn't argument, it's achievement. Succeed quietly, powerfully. Your confidence is a sacred flame. Protect it fiercely. Let the underminers reveal their own fears while you keep ascending, their doubt fading into irrelevant background noise. Seventh, the boundary destroyers, the ones who ignore your boundaries. Let's confront a glaring red flag of disrespect. People who systematically trample your boundaries. This isn't about occasional accidental missteps. These individuals repeatedly violate your clearly stated limits. They disregard your discomfort. And rather than respecting your no, they relentlessly probe your tolerance, pushing to see how much violation you will endure. It might start subtly, pushing a joke long after you've signaled discomfort, invasively prying into personal matters you've marked off limits, or pressuring you into activities that violate your values, dismissing your resistance with a casual, "Oh, don't be so uptight." Here's the cold hard truth. Someone who consistently ignores your stated limits fundamentally disrespects you. They are not seeking understanding. They are conducting reconnaissance. They want to map the weak points in your defenses to ascertain if your boundaries are genuine fortifications or merely flimsy suggestions they can bulldoze. And be warned, every time you yield, every time you let a violation slide, you embolden them. You teach them that your no is negotiable. To them, your boundaries aren't sacred ground. They are inconvenient obstacles to be overcome. This is where the Stoic shield applies. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. What does this empower you to do? You cannot force others to respect you, but you absolutely control your response to disrespect. When someone desecrates your boundaries, engaging in arguments, justifications, or desperate pleas for validation is futile and draining. Your power lies in enforcement. You withdraw access. You build higher walls. You stand unshakably firm. Because the moment someone learns they can walk over you without consequence, they will make it a habit. Consider Jason's experience, enduring a friend's increasingly invasive jokes. Initially, he deflected, but the comments grew worse. He finally stated directly, "Stop, I don't appreciate that." The friend's response? Doubling down, "Chill out. Man, can't you take a joke?" The chilling clarity hit Jason. This wasn't ignorance, it was intentional boundary demolition. His response? Immediate disengagement. He shut down conversations, refused interaction when the behavior started, and ultimately created complete distance. The instant Jason refused to tolerate the disrespect, the friend's power over him vanished. How do you permanently repel boundary destroyers? First, abolish the concept of second chances for repeat offenders. If someone repeatedly ignores your limits, trust their actions, which scream disrespect, not their flimsy excuses or feigned remorse. Second, enforce your boundaries through decisive action, not just repeated verbal warnings. If they refuse to honor your limits, revoke their access pass to your life, your time, your energy. Finally, burn this into your soul. Respect is your birthright, not something earned through begging or negotiation. Ultimately, anyone who truly values you will honor your limits instinctively, without needing constant, exhausting reminders. If someone persistently tests your tolerance, cease explaining and initiate immediate withdrawal. True strength lies not in futile arguments, but in the unwavering refusal to entertain disrespect. Found value? Hit like, subscribe. More power tools coming.